Could the Vikings be looking to make a trade? All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm with Lupagus. I am Onebar. And, some teams are making some trades. Trade deadline is November 1st. So, damn it, we're going to talk about it. There's some players out there. Teams are dangling. Will the Vikings make a trade? If so, who?
Yeah, we saw Christian McCaffrey get moved last night during that amazing contest between the Saints and the Cardinals. And now it makes you wonder if the Vikings are looking to make a move. And before we talk about this too much, let's remember this video is brought to you by Lift Bridge Brewing Company. Whether we see a sign for them on this video or not, they are our sponsors. Delicious beer. Find it in the state of Minnesota. Go to the facilities. Fantastic. And also hashtag 8,000. We are both 60 away from hitting that beautiful mark. Subscribe, like the vids. It's going to make you feel good to click that subscribe button. I guarantee it.
All right, let's do this. Let's talk some trades. And anybody saying that, the Vikings, they're not going to make a trade. Why would they make a trade? Vikings make a lot of trades. A lot of trades. Let's look at this last 5 years. 5 years of beauty. Look at how much these trades have helped this team.
Those trades make me sick.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I guess the best one is probably Mason Cole. I mean, I can't. Which one would you pick out as your best?
I mean, Yannick had a good 6 games, but then you get rid of him, so that's a complete wash. Yeah. I forgot about the Mark Fields. Yeah, I mean, Mason Cole is probably the best one. I mean, Bush Jones hung around forever. I don't know why. It wasn't very good. I'm hoping it turns out to be Jalen Reagor, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the book is yet to be completed for the Reagor, Mullins, and Blacklock. But just look at that. 3 trades so far already this year, proving that this front office isn't afraid to go out there and grab some new players, new shiny players. Well, so I'm not writing this off. There's a chance.
Well, no, and the Vikings should be in a buy now mode. They're 5-1. They're 5-1 with some issues. There's definitely some areas of this team that can improve. There are a couple missing pieces on this roster. So if you're going to make a true push, like you said you've been doing since Kwesi came in, hell, get some more guys. And you know what? I'm not even worried with the cap situation. That thing always gets worked out, even when it looks as bleak as it can possibly look. There's always ways to finagle that thing, all kinds of loopholes when it comes to the cap. So, yeah, I'm not worried about that right now.
Yeah, big contracts out there that they could definitely work and make room for some of these players. But before we get into the players, let's look at some positions that they could actually possibly be targeting. I think we're on the same page here. Defensive line, as you can see, we got a couple of big boys for sure, but that depth gets gross real quick. We know we need help up front.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the names on the D-line. You hear Tomlinson, Phillips making plays. What have we heard from Jonathan Bullard? What have we heard from James Lynch? What have we heard from Blacklock? Really nothing. So it's that other guy, that other 5-tech. We could really use an upgrade there. Cornerback, I mean, Booth just can't get on the field. Chad Sullivan is pure ass. I mean, you look for a guy who could play the nickel. And then tight end. I'm surprised Jacob Holster hasn't actually been activated yet. Looking at these names, he looks like the better option. But Munt, he'll catch you 2 balls a game for about 80 yards. And Irv Smith, he's had some opportunities, hasn't been able to cash in with some drops and some, just slippery mitts. So definitely some areas to improve. And I agree 100%. These are the 3 that I would look for the Vikings to upgrade with a trade.
Yeah, so just Vikings being Vikings and us being morons, just because of that, they'll probably end up trading for a guard, something weird. Something just really weird, but who knows? There are some good players out there. There's some very good players. We know the Panthers, their whole roster is pretty much up for grabs. They've got some good players. We're going to be talking about three guys that maybe 3 realistic options, I should say. I mean, we're not going to be doing no Christian McCaffrey trade.
No, and just spoiler alert, Odell Beckham Jr. is not on this list. We already did a video on him. Whether or not that has any smoke or merit to it, I don't know. But
can you trade for a free agent?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm so embarrassed.
Should be. Let's go with guys that we can actually trade for. Let's start off with the biggest name out of this 3, the sexiest name, the guy that would be fantastic to come to Minnesota, and that is Carolina Panther. That is Derek Brown, the big man in the middle. Look at that guy.
Yeah, look at that girth on that man. And you look at the 6'5", 320 pounds. I like these rankings. 6th best in tier D line by PFF, 3rd best run defender by PFF. You got that rookie contract. So, a good run stopper, 5.5 career sacks. Why not? I mean, this is the guy Carolina, it's a fire sale there. But the one thing they do have going for them that maybe make them pump the brakes on Derek Brown trade is that, as bad as this team is, they have a lot of young pieces on defense. So this is kind of a key guy for them. Who knows if they're willing to give him away, but if they're really, really trying to just get rid of everything and tank for a high pick next year, maybe Derek Brown will be available.
Yeah, the thing with Derek Brown is he really came on this year. I mean, he's been a guy that's been very gradual. He was a 7th overall pick, and Panthers were not getting the return on him, but all of a sudden it has all come together, and he is one of the best interior defensive linemen. When you see who he's up there ranked with, he's up there with the big boys. So the good thing is he's still in that rookie contract, still have the chance to pick up that 5th-year option. Putting him up there with Horrible Harry and Dalvin Tomlinson, hot damn, but he is also probably going to cost a decent penny being that young and just hitting his prime.
Yeah, looking for a way for the Vikings to improve the run defense. This is it. Bringing this guy, and you have nothing but girth, nothing but a huge wall across that entire line. So Derek Brown, man, this would get my parts tingling. And, this would be a fantastic move by the Vikings.
He stuffs the run. He doesn't light up the stat sheet when it comes to sacks, but he still gets after the quarterback, too. He does it all. He does it all.
And maybe his presence would help, Eric Hendricks free up a little bit. Jordan Hick, who knows? Maybe it helps the linebackers, too. Adding one more big man up front, it would make sense that it would. So maybe you're kind of getting, a 2-for-1 kind of deal with this guy.
All right, let's go to another name. The Dolphins have made very clear is available. They made him clear he's available before the season starts. For some reason, they want nothing to do with Mike Gesicki. So Mike Gesicki, a very sexy option. He's a pass-catching tight end. He's a shitty blocker. He's still only 27 years old. Look at that size. He would come in and solve really any tight end woes that the Vikings have.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved Mike Gesicki since he came out back when it was 2018. It's been that long already. I mean, look at 6 receptions, 69, 2 touchdowns just last week against the Vikings. Horrible at doing the gritty, but a big weapon, definitely a playmaker in the passing game. I don't think he drops the balls that Irv Smith Jr. does. Definitely more of a weapon than Johnny Munt. My only reservation with the Vikings going for a tight end, is it that important to this offense? I don't know if it really matters so much who's playing tight end. But again, this offense does need a kick in the ass. All those 3 notes against the Dolphins last week, we can't have that against a better team. You're not going to get those victories if you're turning the ball over, punting the ball over that much. So maybe a guy like Gesicki is that X factor that we need to get this offense over the hump.
Well, we've mentioned a handful of times like how important is tight end in this offense. It's really not that big of a deal. Well, it is a big deal. Irv Smith is 3rd in targets. He's 3rd in targets on a team where you have KJ Osborne, you have running backs that can catch the ball, you got Jefferson, Thielen. So that's big. Clearly, tight end is a big part of this offense.
And another thing, too, I mean, these games when Justin Jefferson has been shut down, it would be nice to have that other option you can turn to. Even the Rams, last year when they were humming, Tyler Higbee would have some huge games. Even Gerald Everett would turn a big game every now and then when other things maybe aren't working. So you can have a guy like Gesicki that you could use. And who knows, maybe on a deal like this, you get rid of Irv Smith Jr. in the process. I don't know.
Wow. The only thing, Mike Gesicki, look at that number. He's on the franchise tag. It's almost $11 million. Dolphins would obviously have to pay some of that because it's whatever throughout the season, but that's a big number. So
it's a huge number.
Well, that one's probably the most unrealistic, but still definitely a possibility. Vikings are 5-1. They're going all in this year, and that might be part of it. Let's go to the third option. That's a cornerback, probably the least sexy option of the bunch. That's Sidney freaking Jones. Sid.
Yeah, let's look at his stats. 6 foot, 181 pounds, 26 years old. He was the 43 pick. Kind of a surprise at that because he had that injury when he was drafted. 25 games started, appeared in 3 games in 22, 45 snaps so far.
He's been buried on the depth chart. They won't get a sniff. Yeah. They got Tariq Woolen. They got all the young guys out there. So it's not that he's injured and not that he's sucking. He just can't get on the field.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The Seahawks secondary has been very, very good this year, surprisingly good. So they're probably not needing Sidney Jones, but this smells to me like a Kwesi kind of a guy who's still fairly young. Maybe he's had some injuries in the past, trying to find that money ball option. But here's a guy that you could plug in. He's got the experience. You have to rely on a rookie like a Caleb Evans. Who knows Andrew Booth Jr., if he's ever going to be healthy this year. That injury just keeps on lingering. To have another option you can rely on. And has he ever played the nickel?
Yes, he can play. He can play anywhere. Early in his career, he played a lot in the slot. His big thing last year, Sidney Jones the reason Seattle re-signed him to that 1-year contract, because he kicked ass last year. He was fantastic last year. But then they go and draft all these other guys, so he can't get on the field. So he's decent. The injury thing, he's always injured. He's kind of like Andrew Lewis. So even this preseason, he was out for like the whole preseason with concussion. So if he can stay on the field, he's a good option. He's a guy you can move around. He's cheap. He's probably going to cost like a 7th-round pick. He was just, I mean, Jacksonville traded him to Seattle for a 6th. So, I mean, he's not going to cost much. And I would love me some Sidney Jones.
Well, and I think we have an extra 2026 7th-rounder from the what the hell is that shitty line we drafted? No, who's that? The guy from the Dolphins, Jesse James or whatever, Jesse Davis. I think we have a 7th-round pick. About 10 years we can give him for Sidney Jones.
There we go. So Sidney Jones, Derek Brown, Mike Gesicki, those are the ones we came up with. Would love to see in the comments who you think the Vikings might target, if you think they'll target anybody, or maybe it's just a position.
Yeah, and remember, you can't trade for Odell Beckham Jr. because he's a free agent.
Yeah, thank you for that, Lupagus. Well done.
And here's something else you should remember. Subscribe, #8000, and this. The average adult silverback gorilla can deadlift 1,800 pounds.